Happy Tuesday, everybody. How y'all doing? Hey, Adelina. Hey, TJ. I hope everybody had a wonderful, restful weekend. I want to come on today to talk about an incident that happened a couple of days ago. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's all over the news, all over the internet. Hey, Samara. There is a 16-year-old black boy that was shot in Kansas City, Missouri, while he went to the wrong address trying to pick up his younger brothers, and instead of him going to um a street instead of a terrace, he got the address mixed on up, and as a result, the child, the 16-year-old, was shot twice, and he survived. But the details are very disturbing, and I want to come on and discuss that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I have a let me pull up the so the 16-year-old name, his name is Ralph Yarls. He's a good young man, really good in school, great GPA. He plays band for the with the band in his school. He's a flutist. I think that's what he plays, the flute. Or so. They say he plays several instruments. He's a academic scholar. And he's 16. Like I said, he's a junior, very good in school. He wants to get wanted to get at the time an academic scholarship or a music scholarship. And like I said, he simply went to pick up his younger brothers, and he got the address mixed up. And so we want to discuss that today. So what happened was, let me and I think that is absolutely ridiculous what happened to this child. In my opinion, this is a hate crime. The police are saying that it's not a racially motivated crime, but there is a racial component. What the difference is, I couldn't even tell you. Right, there is no difference in my opinion. There have been his family has been protested, um have been protesting. They actually protested on the guy's street. Um concerning this incident. And hey, everybody, please hit the like button, right? And the man, as of this happened, I think they said on the 13th, um, and as of midnight last night, as well as today, before I came online, I went to check and see he has not been arrested as of yet. He has been charged with a couple of crimes, like some assault. Anyway, I got it on the screen. He's been charged with two crimes. He has not been charged with attempted murder. They are talking about. I'm assuming that his defense is going to be, based on the stand your ground law. The state of Missouri, is a stand your ground state, but there are rules that apply to the stand your ground law, and clearly this case, in my opinion, does not apply to that. This first slide says that, and I got this off of the CNN website or the Daily Beast website, one of those, but I just wanted to bring you guys some slides, so that we could talk about it. So this is, why is the man who shot Ralph Yarl, which is the name of the 60-year-old, still not, why is he still free? Because it says, like I said, as of Monday night, as of last night, midnight tonight, and as far as I know today, 4 days after Ralph Yarl was shot in the head, the white homeowner who pulled the trigger was finally charged. He has been charged with a crime, but he has not been arrested. He was charged with like felony assault or something like that, and some other crime. He has been the charge. They filed the charges. They gave him a $200,000 bond, but as of last night or either earlier today, he has not been arrested. Right, so he was initially taken to the the man that did it was initially taken to the police department. They said he was on a 24-hour hold. Come to find out, he only was taken into custody and questioned for 2 hours. And then he was released upon further investigation. Right, and so uh, everybody's confused as to why he has not been arrested, but he has been charged. Um, and so, yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about what happened, right? And so this was the question. Like I said, they're wanting to know why hadn't he been arrested yet? Why is he still free? The police, um, somewhere in these articles, they're talking about the police said that they released him after 2 hours because they had to speak to the boy about to get his side of the story. And they were saying that they hadn't spoke to him. Well, Lee Merritt and Ben Crump were online saying that that is a lie. They had spoke to the child while he was in the hospital bed, and so they still didn't know why he wasn't up. So he was charged with um two felonies, including first degree assault, right? And it was called criminal misconduct. It was another charge. I can't think of the name of it, but um he's not in police custody, right? So it says a warrant was issued for his arrest and bond was set at $200,000, but Lester, 84, was not in jail as of Monday night, right? And I checked before I came on. And as far as I know, he hasn't been arrested yet either, but he has been charged, right? And so if it not been for people really pushing the issue on the internet, um, several actors and entertainers have come out, speaking out against this. They're wanting to know why this man has not been arrested, you know. And at first they had not even charged him. This is the guy right here. This is 84-year-old Andrew Lester. Right. So let's talk about Lester. Let me roll it out. Let me roll the conversation all the way back, right? So I think it was Friday night. I think that they said. Forgive me about the miss if I'm getting the dates wrong, right? So around almost 10 o'clock on I think it was April 13th. I think I could be getting the dates wrong, right? Um, 16-year-old Ralph Yarl went to pick up his two younger brothers from a friend's house. So instead of Ralph going to, I think it was Tracy Terrace or something like that, he went to Tracy Street. He got the address wrong. Um, it's something about he left his cell phone. He couldn't call and get the. He thought he was at the right address, right? So he goes up to this house that's on Tracy Street and not Tracy Terrace. He rings the doorbell. At that point in time, 84-year-old Andrew Lester, which is this man right here, he opens the door. Now, when he opens the door, there is a a glass screen door. It's probably one of those security screen doors. It's probably which locks on the inside, and so he's at the door, he's at the glass of the door. He sees the 16-year-old. Now Lester said he's seen this 16-year-old black kid trying to he was twisting the lock, twisting the door handle, the screen door handle, right? Because he couldn't twist the door because there's a screen door right there, and 9 times out of 10, like I said, it's a lock. It's a lock on those glass doors, right? So anyway, upon him opening the door, and seeing the 16-year-old black teen, he said he was 6 feet tall and he was scared to death. This is what Lester told the police. He was scared to death. The guy was the teen was 6 feet tall. He's this black boy. And he was twisting the doorknob, right? And so he shoots. Now he shot the gun through the glass. He didn't open the door first and shoot the gun. He shot the gun through the glass, right? He said he just gotten in the bed. He heard the doorbell ring. So he opened the door and he grabbed his gun, and as soon as he opened the door, he seen a 6 feet 2 year old kid. He was trying to ring the doorbell. I mean, he was trying to get into his home, so he shot the door, right? So upon him shooting the boy in the head, now mind you, He was scared for his life, right? So he shoots the gun. He hits the boy in the head. The boy falls to the ground. He then opens the screen door and shoots him in the arm. In the arm. He shot him in the arm, but he's scared for his life. So he shot through the door, but then he opened the door, right? And still shot after the boy fell to the ground, he shot the gun another time. The boy said he had to get up and run because he didn't want to get shot a third time. Now that is Lester's account. That's what he told the police, right? Well, Ralph, the 16-year-old boy, he has a different story. He said that he went and rung the doorbell, and as he's waiting for somebody to come to the door, Lester opens the door. He was not pulling the gun. He was not pulling the screen door handle, the door handle, or anything. He just simply rung the doorbell, and the man opened the door and shot him, opened the screen door, and then shot him again. Right. So, clearly, this man is 84 years old. He said he's scared to death. So, but in my opinion, if this had been a 16-year-old that looked like Andrew Lester, was the same color as Andrew Lester, he wouldn't have shot through this glass door, right? He shot through the door. He didn't even open the door. The boy didn't try to open the door. He shot through the glass and then opened the door and shot the boy in the arm, right? So that was his version. He was scared to death. 16-year-old rung the doorbell, twisted the doorknob. He's scared to death. He shoot through the glass, right? That's what he said, right? So the police, at first, they were saying that the reason why they didn't keep him detained was because they hadn't gotten they hadn't got the boy's side of the story, right? Well, come to find out, that was a lie. Crump and the other man said that they had talked to the boy in the hospital, right? So then they go on to say that they didn't think that the shooting was racially motivated, but now they have said that that there is a racial component to the situation, right? And so I guess the reason why they're saying that is because the young man that was shot said that the Andrew Lester here, this Anglo, said something about stay out from around here, or stay out from around here, or something like that, right? So before I get too far in the story, let me go back and pull up. That is what the 16-year-old told them the man was saying to him as he went to shoot him, when he opened the door. That's what the guy said. So this was slide 4. Let me see. This is slide 2. Y'all bear with me. Oh, that's what the boy was. He was hollering for help. We ain't got there yet. It's 5. I want to show y'all. Okay, so this is a headline on one of the articles. This is why they're saying this is a racial comment. The teen told them. It says the black teen says white homeowner said don't come around here, as he opened fire. So as he shot through the door, he opens the door, he shoots the boy in the head. After he opened the door, because he would have had to open the door for the boy to hear what he said, he opens the screen door, and as he's shooting him a second time, he tells the boy, "Don't come around here." He opened fire the second time. The boy got his adrenaline pumping, so he done had to run off the porch and try so he wouldn't get shot a third time. Right? Why is prison justice coming for? Okay, so he said don't come. Yeah, that's what he said. That's the headline. And so that's the racial component. Now the police are saying there was a racial component. Now as soon as these police officers talked to this 84-year-old Anglo, they knew that there was a racial component. All right. Because number one, I don't see how this man can be threatened at the sight of this 16-year-old, right? He can't say that he resembled a gang member or anything like that. The boy said he did not push He did not pull on the door handle, which I absolutely do not believe that he put on that door handle. This is the 16-year-old right here, right? That's the 16-year-old that got shot in the head, right? And so, but there's because of fear mongering and hate and racism. This Anglo is 84 years old. Um, you know, and he living in Kansas City, Missouri. That's the same place. I think it was 2016 with Michael Brown. Y'all remember the Michael Brown incident? Stand your ground, all this and all that, right? And so, yeah, his auntie said he was a nice young man. He plays for the school band. He plays the flute. Taking mostly college classes. In school, the boy trying to do something, for himself. He don't look like some random dude that's standing on the street corner, or what do they like to call our black boys, thugs, and all of this, and all of that, right? This is not the issue here. And how would he didn't even give the boy the chance to say nothing. Now, if you're behind the glass, which is probably locked, that glass screen door, and you got the gun in your hand, and you open the door, and you immediately started firing without even asking the boy, you ain't saying what you want or nothing. You just immediately shot him in the head. But you were so scared for your life that you opened the door and shot him again. Okay? Yeah, it don't matter how he was dressed at the end of the day. It don't matter how he looked. It's just the fact that if you're standing behind a locked glass door, why are you going to shoot first without asking him, why is he ringing your doorbell? That don't even sound right. That don't make sense to me. So, yes, absolutely, there's a racial component to this situation. I mean, duh. And so people want to know why the man hasn't been arrested. Like I said, they've now charged him with a couple of crimes, but he hasn't been arrested yet. Charged with the crime, gave him a bond. He still ain't been arrested. And like I said, they're talking about the stand your ground laws. I don't, in my opinion, stand your ground laws does not apply in this situation. See, that's why he tried to say, this is how you know he done wrong. Because he tried to say that the boy was twisting the doorknob. And when he opened the door, because the boy was twisting the doorknob, that's why he shot through the door. But Ralph said that he rung the doorbell. He did not twist the doorknob. And I believe the young man, And you can tell he a good boy. I already did that part. 1, 2, 3. So after the boy was shot, after the man shot the child then runs down the steps and tries to get help, right? And he's screaming in the neighborhood. It's not 11, 12 o'clock at night. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's like 9:50, right? So he's saying, help, help, I've been shot. This is around 10 o'clock. This was Thursday night. And some folks said they went to see commotion. Some folks said they didn't hear nothing. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is an account from a man that says at first he thought Ralph was dead in the street, and he noticed he had a hole in his head near his eye socket. The hole was in his head, y'all, near the eye socket. The man said he thought the boy was dead, right? Well, no, he wasn't dead. He was passed out. And let me tell you all Ralph had to go through. Let me try to pull up another slide. So after this man just shot him, and this child had to run for his life. Where's the number 4 slide? Hold on. He runs off the porch. He's full of adrenaline at this point. I'm missing a slide. I'll be dog. Every time I put this stuff on display, I'm always gonna miss one of them. So I don't know what 4 said. We're gonna go on to this one right here. Okay, so the boy runs off the porch, right? So the man on the slide that I just showed you said that he ran out to help the boy. And the boy was he held his hand, he had passed out and all this and all that. Well, what it doesn't say, and it says in another article, that Ralph, the 16-year-old, told them that he went to 3 houses. The first house he went through, nobody would help him. They wouldn't even open the door. The second house he went through, nobody would help the child. They opened the door. This whole time he hollering, "I've been shot." And this ain't 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. This is 10 o'clock at night, right? You know these people is still woke, right? They wouldn't help the boy. They wouldn't open the door. Then he said he gets to the third house, right? He got to the third house, and the people told him to put his hands up, right? Put his hands up, and then they would help him. The child had to put his hands up. And when he did that, he passed out in the street. But at the third house, he had to put his hands up in order for these people to help him. So they immediately, even though they see the hole in this child's head and they see the hole in his arm, he had to put his hands in the air. He put his hands in the air. He passed out, and that's when they called 911. That's when they called 911. But he had to put his hands up first. They at gunpoint. They pulled the gun on him and told him, even though they saw the hole in his head and the hole in his arm, right? They pulled a gun on him. Let me try to find that slide. They pulled a gun on him and told him to put his hands up. He then passes out in the street. And that is when 911 was called. After he done been shot, you can visibly see the hole. He still got to put his hands up. And that's how they did that, baby. In order for them, this is the third house. He went to 3 houses. He hollered down the street, "I done been shot." But he get to the third house, and they still pull a gun on the child, right? Tell him to put his hands up. He had to do all of that in order to get help. This is Ralph. This is the 16-year-old. This is the hardened criminal, the monster. This that little boy right there, right? That's him, right? So this is what he's been charged with, right? He was charged with assault in the first degree and armed criminal action. Now, Ben Crump and Lee Merritt want to know why he hasn't been charged with attempted murder, right? And the prosecutor or the chief or whoever did the interview, the press conference, said that these charges are more harsh than attempted first degree murder, right? So that is why he has been charged with these charges: assault in the first degree, and armed criminal action, right? So that was the excuse for them not charging him with attempted first degree murder, right? So let me find another slide here because I want to read to you guys what Ralph said. I just have to find it. So this is 7, 8. Bear with me for a minute. It's a lot of slides. Now, like I said earlier, that's what the white man told him, "Don't come around here," as he opened fire, right? And so, yeah. So the boy said, he said, "Don't come around here." That's what Yarl said that Lester, the white man, told him as he got up and ran away to keep from being shot a third time. Now, this is what the 16-year-old told the police as he was being questioned when he was in the hospital bed, right? So he got up and ran away to keep from being shot a third time. Says Lester, the white man, was taken to the Kansas City Police Department East Patrol Unit. But after he was booked and fingerprinted, he was released pending further investigation, right? Took him in. First, the police saying when he was on a 24-hour hold. Come to find out, they booked him, they fingerprinted him, and released him after 24 hours, right? They released him after he done all this. And so, 9, let me find another one. But that's what it told him, "Don't come around here." It says the charges were issued just hours after after. First, they had to do this press conference and this protest and all of this. Then he hadn't been charged with anything yet, right? The charges were issued just hours after a representative for Yarl's family accused local police of not being honest about why they hadn't yet arrested Lester. um, who at that point had not been named, right? So they're saying the police were dishonest about why they didn't arrest him because they said that they had to talk to Yarl, the 16-year-old, and get his side of the story first. Well, come to find out, they had talked to him. They had talked to the young man. They had already talked to him in the hospital. They had already talked to him, right? 10, 11. Let me go back down. Let me find another one. So this is Lee Merritt talking. This is what he said about the arrest, right? It says Merritt said in a social media post on Monday that Ralph, which is a 16-year-old, gave a bedside interview to investigators while hospitalized on Friday, directly contradicting a narrative offered by police that no arrests had been made yet because cops had thus far been unable to take a victim statement. So the police lied and said they didn't have a victim statement when in all actuality, they actually did have a victim statement. They talked to the child when he was in the hospital. So, but that was their excuse for not having arrested the guy. He goes on to say that I cannot say for certain why the appropriate arrest hasn't been made by law enforcement, Merritt said. He says, quote, I can say with absolute certainty that excuses are being offered and are not true. He's talking about the excuse that the police department gave for not arresting Lester. They said they had not yet talked to the boy when in actuality they had talked to the boy. That's what they're saying. So 13, this is his aunt, right? His aunt, which did a interview. I saw her interview today. This is what she said. Hey Claude. Now, hey, everybody just came in. Y'all please hit the like button, right? I'm really not looking at the comments because I'm trying to get this out. So his aunt, I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Spoonmore. She says that her nephew had to get up and run to 3 different neighbors' homes for help, right? When he finally reached the 3rd house, she says someone agreed to help him after forcing him at gunpoint to put his hands up and lie on the ground. So in order for the 3rd home, he went to 3 houses. That's what I was telling y'all earlier. After the 3rd house, they agreed to help him, but he had to. She said he told the young fella told her they agreed to help him after forcing him at gunpoint. They pulled another gun on this child after they seen the hole in his head and the hole in his arm. But in order for them to help him, they pulled another gun on him, told him to put his hands up and lay on the ground. At which time that child passed out. And that's when they called 911. And that was the 3rd house. The first 2 houses didn't even open the door to offer any help at all. Now, there is some story going around by some Anglo guy saying that he saw the boy in the street and he held his hand to 911, came to help him. There's a white woman saying that the police told me to stay in the house because the armed person had been caught yet, but I ran out the house anyway with some towels and I put some towels on his wounds till the police came. No. His aunt said the boy told him in order for these people to help him, they put a gun on him, told him to put his hands up and lay on the ground. That is how 911 got called for this child. They did all of that to that baby in order for them to get help for that child in this neighborhood. I was like, wow. I think it got a couple of more, but that is what the aunt said the boy told her. She also said that clearly he got some trauma going on. So he's having a hard time, dealing with horrible stuff like this. But this is the world that we live in. If you are black and in America, you are not surprised by this thing. His aunt goes on to say, he passed out after he laid on the ground before the neighbor called He passed out before the neighbor called the police for help. Spoonmore said, that's his aunt, that's what his aunt said. She said, you hear these stories about racism in America, but you have this little bit of hope because you feel like it's so far away. She said it would never happen. She said you thinking, that it would never happen to your family. She said it would never happen to you, you know. But God, the people in this country are sick, and I absolutely agree with her about that. Because this child clearly doesn't look, like a hardened criminal. He don't look like he finna break in this man's house and do nothing to this man. And by the fact that they are talking about the stand your ground laws and all of this and all of that, but those stand your ground laws, in my opinion, like I said, do not apply in this situation because the man immediately he opened the door, seen a black face at the door, and immediately shot the boy in the head. Then opened the door and shot him in the arm. The child was so scared. His adrenaline is pumping so hard, and he's so scared that he ran off the porch. Had to go to 3 houses. Somebody just said he's in custody now. Well, at the time I started this video, he was not in custody unless they was on the way. So he turned himself in. Okay. So he's turned himself in. All right. All right. He had not, like I said, as of last night and before I start the video, he had not been arrested. But Sean P, thank you, Sean P said he turned himself in. Right, Mike Brown all over again. Right, because that happened. Was it 2016 that the Mike Brown incident? So Sean P said he just turned himself in, so that's a good thing, you know. And so, but my thing is, we know how the Mike Brown incident ended. We know how. Let's not forget about what happened to Trayvon Martin. Right, the stand your ground law. They used the stand your ground law in the case against George Zimmerman. He killed Trayvon Martin and used the stand your ground law. Even though he was told by the 911 people not to follow Trayvon Martin, he followed this boy. He shot and killed him, and he said that he was in fear for his life. He was fighting for his life, and all of this and all of that. Right? Killed that boy, stalked him and killed him, and he got off with it. So by the fact that the police didn't handle this accordingly, in my opinion, and with them asserting the stand your ground law, and with the man saying the reason why the man said that the boy twisted the doorknob, and he didn't mention, he said he rung the doorbell, but he heard him twisting the doorknob. The reason why he said that is so, in my opinion, is so that they can try to say that he thought he had thought that the boy was trying to unlawfully enter his home. But if he's trying to unlawfully enter your home, why is he going to ring the doorbell first and just stand there and wait for somebody to open the door? So I don't see how he can. In my opinion, the stand your ground law does not apply in this case. That don't make sense to me. And they didn't arrest him, so he's done turned himself in. Because they did give him charges. They set the charges that we read earlier, gave him a $200,000 bond, but they did not go pick him up at his home. And so somebody just said he did surrender, though. That says a lot right there. So we're going to have to find out, are they going to do the right thing and, find this man guilty of these crimes that they've charged him with, of this felony assault and whatever else they said, or are they going to set him free like George Zimmerman? And they said that the assault charge that they charged him with, they said that carries a life sentence, right? I did too, Claude. Claude said I automatically thought of the Trayvon Martin, the stand your ground case. Yeah, when I heard about it, yeah, I thought about that too, right? So, but he's 85 years old, so you know what I mean? Okay. We're gonna have to see if they're gonna find him guilty of any type of wrongdoing at all, you know. But the way things are going right now, if people hadn't started speaking out about this his family hadn't protested, hadn't made national news, would they have even charged him with anything? Because at first they tried to lie and say they didn't talk to the boy. They did talk to the boy. They still hadn't charged him with nothing. Why do you have to go? I don't understand. Um, why when you are black in America, right? Why do black people have to go to such great lengths in order to get any type of justice? When it comes to wrongdoing, and when it comes to a crime that has clearly been committed against a black person, why do we have to go through such great lengths in order for these people to do the right thing? That's what you have to question, right? And so it is just beyond me. That is why I wanted to Um, well, they're saying I read that they said the man had a video camera, but the video footage is not functioning or something. That's what the police were saying, that the video footage is not functioning. Now, whether if they can actually see the video or not, we don't know. But they said that the video footage is not. Uh, I guess they're saying you can't. The video footage is wiped. That's what they're saying. There is no video footage. But there probably still is on the man's camera, but we don't know. They lying already, so you know, you know. That's what I was thinking too, Claude, because he 85 or 84 years old. Are they gonna use, his age, or are they gonna justify this shooting via stand your ground? That is what I'm thinking, because that's what they did in the Trayvon Martin case. And I'm just thankful that this young man is alive. So when it goes to trial, he is alive to testify for himself. His auntie said that he's clearly traumatized and he's going to recover. But what is it going to look like for him mentally and emotionally, as he moves forward in his life, right? So will he still be able? Because we know Gabby Gifford, that the white woman, she was the congresswoman or something. She was shot in the head, right? And she was never the same since. So this 16-year-old has been shot in the head. So how is that going to affect him mentally? Will he still be able to attend college? What is his life going to look like moving forward? You know? What is his life going to look like moving forward? This is a 16-year-old boy. Good grade, excellent grades in school. He was already taking college level prep classes in high school, played for the school band, just a good boy. And his life has been forever altered by this 84-year-old man that said he was scared for his life because this 6 feet tall black guy rung his doorbell. But the child, but this is fear mongering. They said at first they said it wasn't racially motivated. Now they walking it back and saying it was a racial component, you know, because the boy told him what the man said, don't come around here. But you scared for your life. You shot him through the door. Didn't even open the door, but you shot him through the door. You did open the door and shoot him in the arm. The boy so scared that he ran off the porch because he didn't want to get shot a third time. It took him 3 houses. He get through the third house. They pull another gun on this child. Told him to put his hands up and lay on the ground in order for them to help this child. But this is not racially motivated. All because he got a wrong address trying to go pick up his little brother. So we're going to see if Missouri going to do the right thing. And that's why I really want to come on here and talk to you guys about this, because this is sad. I am glad that this young man, they said he stayed in the hospital 3 days. They say his mama is a nurse. He was released after 3 days. He's at home recovering. So which means, he's going to recover. But like I said, he was shot in the head. So what is that going to look like for him going forward? What? I mean, is he still going to be able to go to college? Um, like I don't, he had he's still got his whole life ahead of him, thank God, because this 84-year-old man tried to take his life away from him. He is 16 years old, you know. But I think this young man is very strong. He survived a gunshot wound through the head into the arm. I thank God that he got up and ran, because he probably would have shot him again, truth be told. You know. That's right. Thanks to the Most High, he's still alive. If this young man was a different shade, absolutely, and named, yeah, right. This old, yeah, would have been right, right. If he had been a different color, if he had been the same color as Lester, and he rung that doorbell, I don't think that that child would have got shot in the head. You have to tell your children. I mean, this is just another thing you have to add to the sermon about their safety when they're out and about. You know, it's just another thing that, don't go up to nobody's house. Make sure you got the right address. It's crazy. It's so many things that we have to pour into our young people. If you are a black person, and you are raising young black people, there are so many warnings that you have to give them as teenagers, and it is not fair that we have to give our kids all these warnings. When you're driving in a car, if you get stopped by the police, even if they stopped you, for no reason, comply, put your hands up, do what they say. Don't make no sudden movements. You know, you do this, that, and the other. Now you can't make a mistake and go to the wrong house. If you do, you could be shot in the head. Just all of these warnings that we have to give our children in hopes that they'll take heed and be safe. It shouldn't have to be that way. You know, it don't make no sense. So that's why I wanted to um to talk about this. It's so disheartening. And like I said, what is this child's life going to look like going forward? He's going to have some kind of PTSD, and like I said, I mean, is he going to be able to now attend college? What is it going to do? He got shot in the head. What is it going to do with him mentally? I mean, he's a junior in high school. He got another whole year to graduate. Is he going to be able to do that? Like, what? What is the ramifications of him being shot in the head? You know? That's right, and you can comply and still be unalived. You're right about that, Claude. But you just got to try to warn them as best you can and hope for the best, and pray for the best. They got a right to live their life, you know. But you got to give them all these sermons about being safe. There are other races of people, they don't have to warn their children before they go out like that. Now, there was an incident, they said in upstate New York, where a Anglo girl and her friends pulled into a wrong driveway, um, and she was shot and killed over the weekend as well. Pulled in the wrong driveway in rural upstate New York. The guy came outside on the porch, shot the gun twice at the car, and unfortunately, this girl was killed. You know, so I don't even understand are people so afraid via the fear mongering and all of this propaganda going on that I mean, the girl pulled up in the driveway, white girl, and now she dead. Her friends just got lost. But that goes to the issue of gun control. That is crazy. And this child just run the doorbell because he got the wrong address. He got shot in the head. Lord have mercy. This country has gone crazy. But this is commonplace for us black folks. But there is a gun control issue. I am a gun owner. But I agree with there needs to be some kind of gun control. You got these crazies. The stuff is irrational. The fear mongering. If you are not mentally capable to be a gun owner, then you don't need to be able to lawfully own a gun. He came outside when the white girl was leaving in the car and shot. Yeah, they said he shot twice at the car, and now the girl is gone. Another teenager. See, that's the gun control issue. That's the gun control part of it. But as far as this man, this 84-year-old man and this child ringing his doorbell, there is a racial component to this. You're behind a locked glass door. Okay? This child rung the doorbell and is standing back, and you shot him through the door. Then you opened the door and shot him again. Come on now, really? Come on. So what do he look like to you, a monster? Because the color of his skin, it's just so disheartening. And it took him 3 houses to get help. And then they pulled another gun on him, told him to get on the ground before they would even help the child. Okay? He got a hole in his head. What is he going to do? He clearly don't have no gun in his hand, but he still got to put his hands up and get on the ground in order for you to help him. That is sick. Andrew Lester was booked in a jail on the 13th of April. I was saying 5 days ago before your life. He was taken in. That's not right. I don't know who this person is. But I told y'all the night of the shooting, which was the 13th, they took him in, they booked him, they fingerprinted him, they kept him for 2 hours and let him go. The police initially said that he was on a 24-hour hold, which was a lie. So I don't know who this is putting this wrong information to the chat, but y'all can, if you just came in, I explained to you guys what went on. And a few minutes ago, somebody said that he had surrendered now, but he was taken in, fingerprinted, questioned a little bit, and then they let him go. He had not been arrested. They did not arrest him. So I don't know what this person is talking about right here. I guess it's a troll, and I'll get him out of here. No problem. One says, what's sad is my neighbor left her keys in the door. I was afraid to knock on the door, but I did, and they were happy. I did. It's sad. Yeah, you had to think about even knocking on the door to letting them know that they kid. Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen. And so yeah, but I'm just glad at the end of the day that this child is alive. I hope that he is able to resume his life. I hope that he is still mentally capable enough to attend college and still play his music, and visit Africa and do, just live his best life, start himself a career. Like I said, they said he was so good of a student, he could get a academic scholarship or either a music scholarship, and that is how, good of a boy he is. But to have this happen to that child for no reason other than the color of his skin, and then you're going to say it's not racially motivated, but there is a racial component, that is beyond me. I don't understand why black people have to go through protesting and hiring attorneys and all of this and all of that to get other people to do the right thing when something like this happens. It don't make no sense. But I hope this child, I do too, Sharon. I hope this child will heal, and I hope his mentals are intact. I hope he is able to continue. I hope he is able to go to college and do whatever else he wants to do in this world. And I hope with therapy, he can put this behind him. You should not have to be racially profiled. You should not have to be shot in the head simply because you went to the wrong address. It don't make no sense. You should not be criminalized, which is what they did in order that they criminalized this child. Even before they helped him, he had to put his hands in the air and lay on the ground at gunpoint after he done already been shot. My thing is, what are you so afraid of? Huh? Do you fear retribution because you know how you think and the way you feel? So when you're finally confronted with a situation similar to this, you are even afraid to help. It's a wonder if they didn't let that child lay in the street and die. They also said in that street that he was on, it is a mixed community, and when you go, when you drive through the community or whatever, there are not only just Anglos on that street, it's a mixed community. So what is it like to live in that community? Like, does everybody own a gun? Like, I'm confused. Like, I'm like, huh? I was shocked to hear that they said that it was a mixed community. All types of people live in that community right there. But I'm thinking, huh? Really? With all of this going on, that's crazy to me. It's just like really something to think about. I was like, oh my goodness, that is ridiculous. Where's that troll at? Let me get this troll out here because they put misinformation. You know. And so yeah, but that that's how people move. So let me get them out of here. I want to get the troll out of here before I close the live. But anyway, y'all. Oh, and also before I close, I put a post on my community wall about the brother Q Butter. And the reason why I put his video on my community wall the other day is because um uh the reason why I put that, sorry about that. Absolutely, based on the person's skin color. Yeah, but you have a lot of people of color that would rather put that to the side and act like it don't exist, right? So I heard that there was a so-called YouTube interview that one of the content creators over here, James Caldwell or whatever, did with the Cat Piss Crazy Demon, and they were comparing said uh, pro-blackness was surrounding. Now I didn't hear the video has something to do with sexuality. I was trying to. Can somebody explain that to me? Because I'm thinking, well, no, pro-blackness don't have nothing to do with. It's not doesn't have anything to do with somebody's sexuality. So I don't really understand it. But anyway, when it comes to pro-blackness, that's why I put that on my community wall right there, because I saw the title of another video saying, of a person trying to explain what it means to be pro-black. I don't really know what she said either, but it does have anything to do with sexuality. Now I'm assuming maybe they thinking that pro-black people don't like LGBTQ people, which is not true. Um, you know, that is just not true. They might not agree with the lifestyle, but they are not pro-black because you are pro-LGBTQ. That's ridiculous. Is that what was said? You know. And if they don't like you 9 times out of 10, they just don't like you because it's you. And so I just found it very interesting. But as far as what it means to be pro-black, truly, simply means to put your people first. So I don't understand how those two conversations merged, because like I said, I didn't hear the video, but yeah, I wanted to mention that. Being pro-black does not have anything to do with sexuality, somebody's sexuality. It has to do with the love, putting the love and health and welfare for your own people first. And we know that when it comes to a lot of us people of color, a lot of us melanated people, we don't put the betterment of our own people first. It's really a simple definition to what it means to be pro-black. It really don't have to be all this extra stuff. But you got people that don't like when you say that you are pro-black, because they are not for the betterment of their people first, you know, for a whole lot of reasons. A lot of it is grounded in self-hate. So, but to compare what it means to be pro-black with sexuality is very ignorant to me. And I don't know what the discussion was, but it sounds like it's very ignorant. And also, Sam, like somebody is wanting to get back over here, after being a whole bunch of other places where people weren't paying no mind or whatever. That's what it sounds like. But anyway, I want to mention that. So, but like I said, I put the brother Q Butters video on my community wall. He is the true definition of what it means to be pro-black. He has started a school and is running a school for black children. Um, he does a lot of things in the community. He puts boots on the ground when it comes to working towards the betterment of our community as a whole, collectively, not individually. And so I think that he's a perfect example. That's why I put his video on my wall, and I just want to mention that. Y'all go, if you're interested, go check out the brother's channel and give him a click and a view and a subscribe. Because he's actually doing things proactively, trying to bring about change, and he's doing it through working with the youth. You know, and I think that it's a shame that so many young black people don't have, because a lot of black families don't even talk about, um, the racism and the history of racism, um, that we have to deal with in this country. People would rather not deal with that. But when you don't arm your children with knowledge, when you don't make them hypersensitive to what it means to be black in America, they can be, bad things can happen. You know, you have to arm them with some type of knowledge. Exactly. Klaus said it's funny how he was able to start his school, but somehow Umar had right after all these years, right? It did all that Umar was saying he needs this, that, and the other, and but Q Butter he been done started his school and is running his school, you know. And so I agree, Cloud. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. But when you don't arm your children with this type of knowledge, they are at a disadvantage. If they don't know, if they don't understand what it means to be black in these United States of America, because you don't want to deal with it, or you want to have your hand in the sand and make like there is not a issue with racism in America for whatever reason, you know because there are, unfortunately, a lot of black people in the United States of America that like to lie to themselves and say that we live in a post-racist country. That is a lie. We know that. But if you're teaching that to your children and not having a discussion at all, they are at a disadvantage. If you are not having these discussions with the children, because they're eventually going to have to deal with some type of racist situation, and you want to arm them with as much knowledge as you can. Because look at what happened to this child. Look at what happened to Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, the little 11-year-old fella that was shot and killed in Cincinnati by a police officer because he was playing in a park. All of these children being taken away from us. But like I said, you need to arm them with knowledge as best you can, so that they can learn how to watch their back as best you can. But there are even some things that sometimes stuff is out of anybody's hand. But at least some stuff can be avoided. Sometimes if you arm them with knowledge, so that they know how to properly protect themselves, know how to stay away from certain situations in certain areas. I live in the South, you know, and there are places that um these young people in this family, as well as us, don't even bother going in those areas, because you don't want to have to deal with certain types of people. You know, it's just not even worth it to deal with it. you know. So, but anyway, I want to bring this to you guys. I don't know if you guys had heard about it, but it just really hurt my heart. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that this child is still alive. Um, I hope he is able to continue his education and continue to live his life the way that he had planned to live his life before this incident. But you are forever altered by something like this, you know. So I just hope that he is able to pick up where he left off and continue to be great. You know, I just hope, but you know, I hope that he's got a strong, loving family around him that is going to get him every type of help that he needs to be able to overcome the situation. And I hope that I pray that he, overcomes this situation. We want the best for this young man. Such a good looking young man. It's a shame that he having to go through this right now. But I feel so blessed for the child and his family and his community that baby got shot in the head and he is still alive. It's a shame that he had to go through having two guns pulled on him. That's a shame. I can't imagine what that's doing to him. What type of PTSD and whatever else, trauma that he's gonna have to overcome, you know. But I hope that he overcomes that, all of that. I always remember when God has greatness around your life, the devil always tries to take you at. You got that right, Sharona. You are absolutely right about that. And if you notice that our lights, the righteous, the ones with the people with the most light around them are being taken out on a daily basis. You know, because we are in a spiritual warfare. And in my opinion, this is a perfect example about that. A perfect example of that, you know. And so, yeah, yeah. But I agree with you. Yep. But I pray that he continues. I pray that he will, excel past this situation, and continue to let his light shine and continue to be, the best version of himself that he can be, you know. And so, yeah, that's what we're praying for. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna close this video. I had initially wanted to do a video about coming on here to be a messy, getting a good little kiki, because some of the other stuff that I may come back before the end of the day and do that messy live with you guys. But this was just on my heart to talk about this because it's just wow, it's just so unfortunate, you know. But black people, you gotta stop burying your head in the sand. And yeah, there are absolutely still sundown towns, honey. I live in the South. Okay, you're absolutely right. Yep, yep. There are a lot of stand your ground, states. Yeah, yeah. Right to use post racism is ridiculous. I absolutely agree. Absolutely, I absolutely agree. Absolutely. Yep. There are towns in this state where you know there are towns in the state of Tennessee where there are no black people in these towns at all on purpose. Okay, so yes, there are still sundown towns. hmm There are towns with no black population at all around here. Okay, and I think that speaks volumes, you know. And so, yeah. But anyway, let me get off of here. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really want to come on and talk about this. Because it's very important to arm people with knowledge. You got to stop putting your head in the sand when it comes to situations um like this, and you have to be real with yourself when it comes to the state of the union as it pertains to melanated people. Okay, and that is the best way I know. The only way that I can put it. That's a clean version of it, right? You know, arm your children with knowledge. Arm yourself with knowledge. So that you won't. Hopefully, you won't fall victim to this sort of thing because it don't make no sense. You know, it was said. Okay, so if you wasn't saying the wrong thing, why would you then create another page and come back? And if I blocked you, Sally, it's because I wanted to. So why did you feel so touched that you would have to make another page, love, and come back? Um, you know. So, but it didn't sound like we were saying the same thing. That's not how you typed it. You know, you have to learn how to properly articulate your stance, even when posting a comment. Because if you don't properly articulate your stance, even in the comment section, and I think that this is going against something like this, then I'm going to block you. That's what happened. Uh-huh. But anyway, whether I block you or not, I mean, okay, that's my choice because it's my channel. But anyway, guys, I got to get off here. Thank you guys for joining me. Like I said, I might come back a little later on, and I can't read it again because it's blocked. And by the fact that you keep commenting that and you came back, which is screaming troll to me, because this is a serious conversation, and you are just like, I don't you're pressed, and I don't understand why. I don't I don't I don't get it. I don't play like that. But anyway, guys, like I said, um, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I may come back a little later on and be messy, and I may not, but this was not a messy type of live. And yeah, but thank you guys for joining me. If you came in late, please be part of the replay game. Um, and so yeah, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this um incident, and so yeah, see what's gonna happen, if anything, what will happen in this case going forward. I hope that um this wrong will be righted in the court of law. You know what I mean? You wasn't fired, Claude. You was not fired. You was not fired. Okay. But anyway, I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Thank y'all. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Y'all have a nice day. Bye bye. Peace.